We are only 3 months into 2026, and so far this has been a great year for gaming. We got Resident Evil Requiem, which I'm reviewing today, which has been amazing. We got Crimson Desert coming next week. We got Pokemon Pocopia selling 2 million copies in 4 days, man. Gaming is in a really good spot, despite being in a rough spot. We get good news with the bad news when it comes to gaming, man. But with that being said, we got to talk about Resident Evil Requiem today, man. Survival horror is one of my favorite genres of gaming. Absolutely love it. I love everything from Alan Wake 2 to the first Alan Wake down to the Dead Space remake, even the original Dead Space games. I love those as well. Man, there's too many to name. Silent Hill F, Silent Hill 2 remake. Now we got Silent Hill Downfall coming soon. Man, we're eating really good for the survival horror fans, even down to the little indie horror games like Chronos The New Dawn. Shout out to Bloober Team. So, man, I love Resident Evil. Resident Evil 7 is one of my favorite games of all time, especially horror games. Resident Evil 4 Remake is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Resident Evil 5, despite a lot of people having their critiques with that one. Resident Evil 3 Remake was a disappointment because they cut so much content, and as someone that didn't play the original, I am not with the cutting content, right? So that's not ideal. Also, I really do love Resident Evil 2 Remake. One of the great games in the survival horror franchise and genre, right? So I love Resident Evil as a whole, man. Every time some Resident Evil games get announced, I get excited. I also really enjoy Resident Evil Village as well. Resident Evil Requiem, when it got announced, man, I was excited. I love Capcom. They have been cooking this entire generation, man, and I'm all in with supporting these guys. So, man, I went into Resident Evil Requiem with high hopes, man, and I was not disappointed. Capcom has been on the killer streak, man. They just keep cooking. I'm really excited to try Pragmata next month in April. Onimusha, Way of the Sword, and even the games I might not usually have been excited to play in the past. Now that I'm trying more JRPGs and expanding my taste and preference in games, I'm always open to try some things. So Monster Hunter Stories looks really dope to me. But that's enough, man. Let's get into Resident Evil Requiem, man. The first thing we got to talk about is the graphics, the gameplay, and the overall art design. And man, starting with the graphics and gameplay, this is by far one of the best looking games I played this generation. And on the PS5 Pro, it shines the best. I'm sure with a great PC setup, it'll look even more impressive. But I main the PS5 Pro and the Switch too, so that's why I'll be focusing my attention today. The ray tracing is a treat, man, bringing the world to life with realistic reflections and great global illumination. It is a bug on the PS5, where in Leon sections and Raccoon City they removed the global illumination ray tracing due to the problems with one of the denoising methods on Capcom, and so hopefully they, get that sorted out soon. It is a workaround. If you turn it off, close the app, reload the app, turn it back on, everything should be working as normal. Capcom are working to fix this, so hopefully by the time you watch this video, it'll already be resolved. I'm most impressed how this game scales across multiple platforms, whether it's the Switch 2 or the PS5. Every system got a great version for their respective hardware, which is refreshing in a world of unoptimized UE5 slop. The Capcom engine shines once again. The way these games look on the Switch 2 alone is insanely impressive. Character details are spectacular, whether it's Leon, Grace, or any of the side characters that you come across, or main antagonists. Every up close was very impressive, man. I was just left impressed, asking for more after every cutscene. I can't state how damn good this game felt and looked, man. It feels like a true next-gen title, even though this gen is coming to the end, right? Gameplay is also really good, combining two of my favorite RE games into one package. That classic RE4 action with Leon, and that really tense, horrifying gameplay sections of Grace that, kind of pays homage to Resident Evil 7, in my opinion, with how scary it is. And it really left my heart pounding on multiple occasions, man. I was never not on the edge of my seat, whether it was some scary moments with Grace or high octane action with Leon. This is definitely my new favorite in the entry in the series, man, for sure. Now, the music and sound design was great, with dope voice acting per usual with the Resident Evil IP, and a true sense of dread with the horror moments with Grace. Like I mentioned, it all brought the package together well, and I really appreciate that. I love when horror games bring the music and sound design to the same quality as the graphics and storytelling. That's one of the reasons I really love Alan Wake 2 and Silent Hill 2 remake, because I feel like the sound, the atmosphere, the music, just the sense of just dread in the world just came together so good. So we gotta talk about the story and attention to detail. You guys know I don't do spoilers, and I really want, if you're watching this video, just go play the game. Support Capcom. If it's on sale, buy it. If it's not, buy it. It's probably some bad financial advice from your boy NextGenNero, man, but I'll be damned if I sat here and tell anybody I do not recommend this game 100%. So the story for me was very dope. I'm not gonna mention any spoilers or anything like that, but I really enjoyed, like I said, how they did Leon sections with the action and how they did Grace sections with the intense horror. I also appreciate them having the option to play this in first person or third person. Now for me, I played it in the default, which is first person for Grace. Like I said, paying homage to that Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village. And then, you got your third person for Leon, which is the, usual over the shoulder view. And I really enjoyed it, man. I like how they, tied some loose ends, some questions I had from Resident Evil 2 and 3. And even, some hints towards Resident Evil 7 that I've been seeing out there. I like how everything ties together. It is still going to be some question marks for people. But overall, I think Capcom did a really great job of bridging the games together and, giving a lot of explanations for some of the things I had questions about personally. So I think the story and attention to detail was really good, man. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, likable characters. Grace is awesome. I have, anxiety myself, so I think she might have a touch of autism. I have a lot of family who have autism, nieces and nephews and stuff like that. So just seeing some of her quirks and seeing how she act, it's kind of really relatable, man. It's nice just having a scared female protagonist nowadays instead of having everybody be a superwoman or a Superman. Sometimes it's nice to just have vulnerable characters that you play as. You can relate to them a lot more, because if any of us was in her situation, we'll be petting and scared just just like she was. So the story for me get an A. I really enjoyed it. These guys have confirmed they are working on DLC. We have a photo mode coming in May, so that's really awesome. The last thing I want to talk about, guys, is the replayability. And with all Resident Evil games, it is a good amount of replayability there. This game does have multiple endings. I won't speak on the ending I got, but I believe it's considered the good ending. Guys, please keep it spoiler free in the comments, but let me know if you got the bad ending. And they got trophies that encourage multiple playthroughs, whether it's speed runs, beating the game in a certain amount of time, different difficulty options and stuff like that. So in my humble opinion, I do think that all of the Resident Evil games have a pretty good amount of replayability, especially for those completionists, man. But man, Resident Evil Requiem is definitely one of the highlights for me this generation, man. Capcom absolutely cooked. This is a beautiful pro enhanced game, but it also looks good on every console for the most part. I'm really impressed with how it scales down to the Switch 2. If you played on the Switch 2, please let me know. I will probably be double dipping and buying this game on my Switch 2 once it goes on sale. Guys, I took my time writing this review, man. I hope you guys appreciate it. Hit a like button, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.